class. They are studying the Civil War. Today they'll be talking about the differences between the North and the South.
Okay, let's talk about the North. What was the North like? Give me some ideas. If you need to go back and look, please do so. Tell me about the North. Kurt.
It had some farmlands.
It did. Did it have big farms? Did the North have plantations?
No.
No. So we'll say small farms. What else? What else can we talk about with the North? Go back and look and find them if you're not sure. Becky.
It was a harsh, hurried land.
A hurried land, but why? What did the North have that made people want to move around? It had lots to do, places to go. Why? Autumn?
It had more than 100,000 factories.
Lots of factories. I agree with that. What else? Go back to 416 if you can't find anything. What else, Sarah?
It had a lot of progress.
I agree with that. We talked about something else, though. Kurt?
It has the Erie Canal.
Erie Canal. So it had canals. What else besides canals? Johnny?
Railroads.
Good. Anything else? Rosie?
Slavery.
That goes with this one. Canals, railroads are all part of transportation. Anything else that goes with transportation, Jenny?
Steamboat.
Steamboats. Those were all things that moved goods from place to place, right? In the North. There's one more thing we talked about. We said that they grew from 2 to 45. What was that? What grew from only 2 of them in 1790 to 45 in 1860? What was that, Michelle?
Cities.
Big cities. Most of them, they said, were in the North. So the North is a place of big cities. They have factories. They have a few farms, but they're small farms. They're not big farms. They are progress. They have lots of progress. There's one more thing. Starts on the bottom of 416 and continues on to 418. 417, my apologies. Josh?
Immigrants.
Most of the immigrants, most of the people that were coming to the United States at this time were settling in the North because they were working in those cities. They were working in those factories. The Irish immigrants had just come from Ireland and there was a famine. Their farms were doing very poorly, so they didn't want to farm because they had starved on the farm. So they wanted to try something different, and they came and they lived in the cities in the North. What are we going to read about next? On the top of the second column on 418. What are we reading about next, Angela?
The South.
The South. As we read, pay close attention so we can list some things that are important. So, tell me about the South. Tell me about the South, Josh.
Cotton.
With a capital C. Cotton was king. It was important to the growth of the plantations. What else, Sarah?
There was slavery.
Good. What else? Autumn?
They had very good farmland.
Good farming. Tell me about those farms. How are they different from these farms in the North?
They were bigger, and a lot of people said they wanted to go for, and it created a profitable way of life.
Big farms called what? They had a special name for these big farms. What are these big farms called, Kurt?
Plantations.
We talked about plantations earlier in this year. What do you remember about them? What do you remember about plantations, Sarah?
They had many different buildings for the slaves.
Yeah, they had quarters for the slaves to live in, right? But did they have to go to town to buy their soap? Butter? How about food? Why? Why didn't they have to do this? Kurt?
They all had it on the farm.
They had it. Plantation was almost like a small town. Remember we talked about that on a plantation, most of the things they needed for daily life could be made and produced right there on the plantation. Who did all that work? Who produced the slaves did, you bet. So the slaves were important to the way of life of the South. They were important to the way of life for the South. Anything else in the South we need to put up here? Anything else? Rosie?
The South grew 3/4 of the world's cotton.
I'll put it up here. What other products did it grow besides cotton? I'm asking Michelle.
Rice.
Rice is one. Another one, Becky.
Sugar.
Johnny?
Tobacco.
Dave?
Indigo.
Good. The two ways of life. The North and the South were joined together in one nation. But as you have read, each had its own way of life. The North was fast becoming a world of cities and factories. The South remained a world of plantations and farms. But the greatest difference between the North and the South had to do with slavery. And as you will read, this difference turns into a war. The big difference is the North had factories and lots of immigrants that came and worked in those factories, worked in those cities. Who ran the plantations? Who ran the plantations in the South? Who did all the work? Kurt?
Slaves.
And so that was a huge difference of opinion. Rosie? Yes, it is. It is going to be the start of the Civil War. Page 425. If you look on the map on 425, look at the map key. What color are the free states on the map key?
Orange.
Johnny?
Orange.
And what color are the slave states on the map key? Kurt?
Green.
Green. I want you on your map today to label and find the free states and the slave states. You don't have to do anything with the territories. You just have to find the states. Make sure on your map you make a map key, and if you would like to abbreviate the states, you may do so. You can use postal abbreviations, which are the two letters together, or you can use, like for Nebraska would be capital NE.